This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
Welcome to Elder Geeks, Elder Speaks. Today is Thursday, August 30th, 2012. My name is Randy Asenjak, editor of ElderGeek.com. If this is your first time checking out Elder Speak, welcome. Elder Speak is typically a video digest, I suppose, of all the cool things that I kind of find on the internet, typically some of the highlighted news for the gaming world and geek world. And of course, the descriptions to everything that I talk about are found in the description of the video below, along with links and time codes, so you can skip right to the topic that I actually talk about during the day. So it's typically not just one topic. Oh, and of course, it's always spattered with a huge helping of my point of view, my 2 cents, and in the background, to keep the video from being completely visually boring, I toss up whatever video game I happen to be playing at the time being. Today, again, you're going to be seeing more gameplay footage from Sleeping Dogs. Now, the only real reason why I'm doing Sleeping Dogs again, not that I'm tired of the game, it's just that it's the only game that I have installed on my computer right now that I can play and actually record and show to you guys. The games that I'm playing for review right now can't be shown yet, so sorry about that. What I really kind of want to show, though, is some Final Fantasy Tactics, because I don't know why, but the past couple of days I've been dying to play the original Final Fantasy Tactics again, and, well, you know, I've got things to do, and unfortunately I can't go back and rehash through some old classics, though one day I probably will. Today is actually going to be a shorter video day, not because there aren't any hot news topics out there, but it did seem like a little bit of a slower news day, but because I kind of wanted to just kind of focus on a question that was sent in to me through email, and tomorrow I'll try to get back to news. And of course, I'm also trying to keep this video a little bit shorter today because I looked at the date and I realized exactly how far behind I was on my next video for 25 games for my son, and the script I have is enormous, which means it's probably going to take me a long time to get all these drawings done. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, I'm sure I'll probably toss up a couple of images that I wrap up as sort of a preview or a teaser, I suppose, but only if I'm happy with what I end up drawing. Question for today says, "Hey Randy, I had a bit of a question for you that I've gotten into a heated debate with some friends over the past month or so that not a single one of us completely agreed upon. When designing a video game, at what point does the line, 'you can't put a price or deadline on creativity,' have to give way because it's simply taking too long to make a game?" He goes on to elaborate, but wraps his thoughts up with, "Do you think such a balance can be quantified in general and not on a case-by-case basis?" Now, it's a pretty good question as to whether or not there is a balance between creativity and productivity and what would be a financially successful game. If I knew the exact answer to that, I'm certain that video game companies out there would want to scoop me up and take me away from my 9-to-5 job and pay me gobs of money so I could always keep their company within the black as they balance between creativity, productivity, and what is a financially successful game. So it unfortunately is a case-by-case basis. I'm sure that there are companies out there that have something close to a formula that they can follow. Bigger games like, say, FIFA or Madden or Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or Legend of Zelda, Mario. I'm trying to think of the other games that kind of get cranked out pretty quickly. And there's no questioning their quality. Like, a lot of the times, people might be getting tired of Call of Duty games, but if you look at them, the level of polish is actually very, very high. Same thing with Mario games and Zelda games. People might be getting tired of them because they're the same games over and over again, but the polish level is really high, and it's something that people want. It's a commodity that people have grown used to getting on a regular basis. So I'm sure those games have formulas for them. When it comes to smaller companies like indie developers or even mid-range developers like, say, Paradox Interactive, I think that they are given a little bit more liberty. Indie games, of course, have all the liberty in the world. They, liberty as long as they can feed themselves, I suppose. I'll try to stop speaking in general terms and try to narrow down a little bit here. When you're looking at indie developers like, say, I don't know, an indie developer who's really trying to make it big, somebody who's trying to break through and make something that's going to be successful for them, something that will put food on their table. Those developers are probably a little bit more used to living on a smaller salary, and they might not mind so much sacrificing their time a few weeks or a few months and sacrificing how often they go out or what they buy for their clothes or paying for cable, etc. like that. They can evaluate their expenses and see if they can extend their development time to make a better product, because creating the finest product that they possibly can might make them a successful developer. It might make them a successful game. It might put food on their table for a few years, which of course in the eyes of an indie developer that might be the way to go. That would be for a first-time indie developer. So they might have a little bit more time on their hands to play with. For newly established indie developers, a concept which, by the way, I think is brand new to our generation of gaming, this generation of gaming, to established indie developers, I think they also have more time on their hands. If like I said, they've grown used to living on smaller means, and if they are riding on the financial success of a prior, video game, then they might be able to, set their own deadline and their own pace and put it out whenever they feel that the product is going to be finished. I'm trying to think of a specific company like Tale of Tales. Tale of Tales, nobody could argue that they are a very, very good indie development team. And in terms of artistic presentation and creative presentation, there are a few companies out there that are more artistic in their approach and that are more creative in their approach to the games that they put together. Now, I'm not belittling everybody else in the video game market except for Tale of Tales. I think anybody who is aware of who Tale of Tales are, they specifically make games that they intentionally try to push video games in the direction that they aren't meant to go. They are trying to push the boundaries of what is considered art and what is considered video games, but at the same time still trying to be classified as a video game and be classified as art. So what they are actually doing is I guess they would be called pioneers for what they do. Now they have had some successful games in their past, so since they are financially independent, they have more freedom to be able to put out the exact games that they want. I'm sure that if time came by and they financially needed to make a quicker decision, they might work harder and might make a game that they would know would be more commercially successful, and they would do it as quickly as they can. But now that they have the time, they'll spend as much time as they possibly can to create the product that they want, not necessarily what the market wants. When it comes to, say, mid-range developers, I would say like, I don't know, Paradox Interactive is they're one of the last few mid-range developers out there, unfortunately. I'm certain that they work on deadlines, because there is a point when you have to look at the expenses of paying everybody on your staff, the expenses of paying the mortgage on the building that you're working on or the rent that you're working in, paying the electric bill, which if you're running 20 computers in an office or even more, if you're running 50 computers in office, that electric bill is just going to be enormous. So yeah, there is definitely got to be a point where they say, okay, we gotta cut things off and we've got to publish this come hell or high water, because otherwise we're just going to start losing money. And yeah, I guess that's it. I would assume that companies like mid-range companies would actually evaluate their budgets on a game-by-game basis. So unfortunately, there is no set formula for this. There is no set formula for the games. There's no set formula in place for developers. There's no set formula in place for even what kind of game you're making or what time of year you plan on releasing. So I think that a good project manager for any game company out there is going to have a better grasp on that than I do. But yeah, they've always got to balance back and forth what their projected sales are going to be versus how much time they're spending on a project. it's business. As much as we love it, as much as we love talking about it, and as much as we love playing games, and as much as a creative outlet as they are, and as much of a creative outlet they are for the people who make them, but as also for the people who play them, it's also business. And they gotta make money, because if they don't make money, then they don't eat, and they don't continue to make games to hopefully, satisfy gamers for years to come. Good question. It is a complicated answer, and I hope I answered it sort of, but part of me feels like I might have rambled on a little bit. Anyway, thanks everybody for subscribing. Thanks everybody for following along as well. Like I said, tonight I'm going to be calling it quits a little bit early because I want to get back into drawing some more for 25 games for my son. I've got a lot of work to do for that, and I really want to get that out ASAP. And then I also have a few video reviews that are actually on the cooker as well. So thanks again. If you guys actually have any comments or questions, please feel free to send them to info@elder-geek.com. You can follow me on Twitter personally at RandyAsenchak, or you can follow eldergeek.com as a whole at eldergeek.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch TV, and of course here on YouTube, all at the extension eldergeek.com. And I'm pretty regularly following us on, I'm pretty active on our Facebook page and of course on our Twitter page as well. So hit me up if you have any questions or comments. Thanks so much, everybody. I will hopefully talk to you all tomorrow.